Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. And we begin with what could be a sparkly solution to the world's plastic problem. German scientists have found a way to turn old water bottles and food packaging into diamonds. According to the Good News Network, the researchers used a 6,000 degrees Celsius laser beam and squished the plastic under a weight equal to millions of times Earth's atmospheric pressure for a few billionths of a second. In the blink of an eye, the tests rejiggered the molecules into microscopic diamonds known as nanodiamonds. Nanodiamonds are so tiny that a row of 8,000 of them would span the breadth of a human hair. Basically, they're too small to be used in jewelry, but have a wide variety of uses in medicine, including for vaccines and drug delivery devices. Tradition will take center stage at the White House today as former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle venture back into their old home for the unveiling of their official portraits. But that's not the only thing the two-time commander-in-chief gets to celebrate this week. Mr. Obama also just became the first U.S. president to win a competitive Emmy for narrating the 5-part Netflix documentary, Our Great National Parks. President Eisenhower also got an Emmy, but it was an honorary one. Mr. Obama also has 2 Grammy Awards for audio versions of his memoirs, which means he's halfway to EGOT status, limited to the rarefied few people who've won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. A teacher from Prince Edward Island in Canada just found a fossil that could predate the dinosaurs. Lisa Cormier was walking the shoreline in Cape Egmont when she spotted something along the shore that looked like a root. On closer inspection, she found ribs, a spine, and a skull. It hasn't been identified yet. That's expected to take up to a year. But experts think it's some kind of prehistoric creature from 300 million years ago. Paleontologist John Calder told CBC News, this could be a one-of-a-kind fossil in the tree of life, of evolution of amphibians to reptiles to mammals to us. Tom Cruise is making headlines on multiple fronts. His action-packed Top Gun sequel Maverick not only won the holiday weekend box office, but also just topped Black Panther to become the 5th highest grossing movie of all time. Not willing to rest on his laurels, though, Mr. Cruise is already tempting life and limb to promote his next film. Over the weekend, he posted video of himself standing on top of a biplane in midair. "I'm sorry for all the extra noise of the engine," he calmly tells the camera. "We're shooting the next installment of Mission Impossible. We'll see you at the movies." The star has a long history of performing his own stunts. Death-defying action at great heights are now what the New York Post calls his calling card. At the U.S. Open, all eyes will be on a 24-year-old from Maryland today. Frances Tiafoe is now the youngest American to make it to the quarterfinals since Andy Roddick in 2006. Tiafoe was an underdog taking on Rafael Nadal in the 4th round, but took out the 22-time Grand Slam champion in 4 sets. And she's still not saying the word retirement, but Serena Williams does have karaoke on her mind. Last Friday, she lost what was likely her final professional match, an epic 3rd-round battle to an unranked Croatian-Australian player. Afterwards, the tennis sensation left the door to her future slightly ajar, but said right now she's looking forward to some sing-alongs with her daughter. And in today's KidNuz notes, Justin Bieber is back on the sidelines. The singer restarted his Justice tour, but only made it through 6 shows before again struggling with the facial paralysis from Ramsay Hunt syndrome. On Instagram yesterday, he announced he was canceling the remaining 70 shows to rest and recover. That's it for KidNuz. Now our KidNuz quiz. German researchers have found a way to turn plastic into what? Nanodiamonds. What former president just won an Emmy for narrating a documentary? Barack Obama. How old is the fossil found by a teacher in Canada? Possibly 300 million years. What's the name of the 24-year-old underdog making headlines at the U.S. Open? Frances Tiafoe of Maryland. In today's Kid News Kicker, some of us might wish we were like Mr. Tiafoe shining under the lights at the U.S. Open. Others might prefer to chase the serves and backhands that get away. But being a U.S. Open ball kid is surprisingly tough. According to the Washington Post, hundreds of people apply, and those that make the cut have to run a mile without stopping, bend, lunge, squat, stand, and sprint. Some tennis experience helps, but it's not a must. Runners are said to make solid candidates because of their stamina, and so are those of you who play baseball because you tend to be good at throwing and catching. One of the most important talents for a U.S. Open ball kid? The ability to fly under the radar. Those who succeed have to be able to get the balls without getting in the way of the players or the games. Before we go, time to recognize our teachers in the classroom, starting with Ms. Kaminsky and her Lions at Lincoln Elementary in Hammond, Indiana. To California for Mr. Toldy and his Griffins at Gale Ranch Middle School in San Ramon, and Miss Jordan and Mrs. Sin and their Cheetahs at the Charter School of Morgan Hill in Morgan Hill. Mrs. Peters at Galva Elementary, where it's a great day to be a Wildcat in Galva, Illinois. And Mrs. VK and her Panthers and Tigers at Tollgate Middle School in Pickerington, Ohio. Thanks for listening. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll see you back here for more Kid News tomorrow morning.